Rivers, he's the criminal lawyer.
But who is he?
Bruce Rivers, he's the criminal lawyer.
And who is he?
Bruce Rivers, he's the criminal lawyer.
And what he do?
And it's gonna react to all the self-snitching.
Hi, this is Bruce Rivers. Welcome to another episode of Criminal Lawyer Reacts. I'm Bruce Rivers, board-certified criminal defense lawyer. And today I am talking about Tory Lanez. Tory Lanez is a rapper, and he was charged in L.A. with shooting Megan Thee Stallion. Apparently they were at a party, and they were in a car, and he says, "Dance, bitch," and shoots at her feet, and the gun goes off. Now, that is, what you call a very reckless use of a firearm. I don't know if it happened or not. I know they did do DNA, and I don't know if his DNA is on the gun or not. I know there's a mixture of DNA. But here's what happened. He recently got taken into court for violating conditions of release. Basically, there was a protective order that prevented him from either contacting directly or indirectly Megan Thee Stallion, and some of his tweets were, or not tweets, or Instagram, however his social media posts were directed at her, it seems like. So the prosecutor, now let's just take a step back and talk about conditions of release. So when you get charged with a crime, the court can impose conditions, on you while the case is pending. For example, in a domestic case, you might have a condition of your release that you cannot go to your home, you can't have contact with your wife or your girlfriend or whoever the protected person is. And so if you violate that condition, they issue a warrant. And when they issue a warrant, they take you into custody. And then you have to have a bail hearing or some kind of hearing after that. So the court can impose any kind of conditions on your release. And in this case, they said the court said you violated your conditions of release. We're going to do something different now. And so he had initially had $250,000 bond. So he posted that bond, obviously, and it was out until his case happened. And so when they bring him in, he was arrested last week. And when he got arrested, the district attorney had asked for $5 million bail, to revoke his bail completely. And the judge did not go with that. He went with the argument of the defense, and the defense asked him, I don't know what they actually asked for, but he wound up just adding another $100,000 to the bail, which, 10%, you put $10 more thousand dollars into the kitty for the bail bondsman, and you're out in short order. So they had a preliminary hearing, and a preliminary hearing, not every jurisdiction has them, but what a preliminary hearing is, it's a hearing to determine whether there's probable cause to get to the jury, basically. Is there enough to bind this case over to a jury? And in this case, the judge said that there's enough evidence here to go to a jury. And so during that hearing, they talked, the prosecutor brought out the fact that he said, "Dance, bitch," and then the gun goes off. And then his defense attorney says, "But no one heard 'dance, bitch' except for Megan," correct? And the officer says, "Yes, that's right." So, I don't know how this is going to shake out. There's a trial date set in September. But let's kind of look at the facts of a case like this. So this is an aggravated assault. It's a felony because it's with a firearm, and you have an injured party. So Megan's feet were bleeding at the time that this happened, and but he denies that he shot anybody, and Megan's the only one that hears the term "dance, bitch." Now, if there's no DNA on the gun, does that mean that they can't convict him? No, not necessarily, because they don't. It's very often that they don't find DNA on a particular firearm, and I believe if his DNA is on it, there might be a mixture, so that it might be inconclusive. It all depends upon what the DNA profile shows. If his DNA is on the gun, what that means is at some point he touched the gun. So if you have Megan saying, "I saw him point the gun at me and shoot," that's direct evidence, and that's powerful stuff. Her injuries to her feet, one could argue that she wouldn't have gotten them any other way, other than and when the cops originally stopped the vehicle, and she was afraid she was going to get in trouble, and she was crying and she was bleeding, and I mean, so you take all those circumstances into account, and and there's no plea deal that's been offered. So, when there's no plea deal, you go to trial. That's what you do. So, but this is a good example of what not to do, and of how not to use a firearm. Very reckless. I mean, when you go to the club, leave your gun at home. Because even if you have a permit to carry, most permit to carries are invalidated with the use of alcohol. So they usually have a little disclaimer on the permit on your card that says it invalidates it if you are drunk or if you use any alcohol. My advice to everybody is live to fight another day, and do not take your gun to town. So when you have a case like this that's not, it's being denied, some of the things that you need to look at, like, for example, let's see, the victim identified in court was Megan P. Described the injuries as the bleeding profusely, and she fell to the ground and crawled to a nearby driveway, according to the detective. That's what they said in the preliminary hearing. She said that the female friend of hers who had been in the vehicle ran up afterwards along with Lanez, and that he emphatically apologized for what he did. So that's what you call consciousness of guilt. I'm really, really sorry. I'm really, really sorry. And then he denies it later. Well, you apologized. That's an issue. So that trial's coming up in September. And so we'll follow that. I like to follow all these bigger cases because it's just interesting to the fans. And if you guys have any other ideas, don't hesitate to put in the comments. We read the comments, all the comments. And some are more appreciated than others, but all are overwhelmingly positive. And that's what we're trying to do here, is present a positive message, inform, entertain. And there you go. So don't take your guns to town. That's my advice to you guys. And we'll see you next time here on Criminal Lawyer Reacts. Make sure you follow us on Instagram, follow us on Twitter, spread the word. And we got Patreon out there to help some folks who can't afford bail. So let's get those numbers up there, and we'll do some good work. So we'll see you next time here on Criminal Lawyer Reacts.